Address if you don't mind.
Sure. Ray Baker, 6309 Old East Road. I share the property line with Stanhope Farms. I have taken a number of exceptions to the whole way this thing's come about and the plans that are coming about in regards to the landowner being responsible for maintaining the road, actually for constructing the road. No disrespect to the farmer, but they're not trained in building roads. It's not something that just anybody can do. There's standards to be met, qualifications. You know, this just doesn't make much sense to me. I just wanted to say a couple of things. First of all, yes.
Just in reply to your, this probably isn't the way to do it, but they would have to be built to the proper standards. Just to clarify that.
Yeah, that doesn't reassure me very much, though. I'm sorry. So what I'd like to say is a lot of us, most of us are not against composting. A lot of us have composting of some sort on our own properties, whether we're farm owners or whether we have small parcels and we're doing backyard composting. Nobody's against composting anymore. What we're against is the location of this compost, the way that it was put about, the way the neighborhood was totally ignored. When we talk about the operational plan, it's important to remember that that plan, from my understanding, was originally for a commercial operation. It was going to be 50% used on the farm, 50% to be sold. Under that plan, they did need OMAR certification. My understanding of the rules around OMAR, they would have turned it down. They would have turned it down because the operator didn't inform you, the council. The operator didn't inform us, the neighbors. If you look at the operational plan and the numbers that go along with it, when they changed that plan, when this all came about and all of a sudden all the heat was on, the operational plan was then changed. It was revised. They took out the commercial part of it and they took out the selling 50% of the compost. Now when you look at those numbers, there's thousands and thousands of dollars being put into building this facility. Now all of a sudden they've changed their plan. They didn't lower how much product they were going to bring in, but they changed the plan for we're not going to sell 50% of it anymore. So right there, they've taken the huge 100% of the profit that they anticipated making and said, we don't need to worry about that anymore. How does that make sense to anybody who's paying bills? So now we're left with double the amount of compost they originally planned for. What are they going to do with all that compost? Put it on their fields? It's going to burn it. All that compost has got to go somewhere. We talked a little bit earlier about the amount of nutrients put on these farms. Once every 3 years isn't going to do it enough. It's got to be tested a lot more than that. There's nutrient management calculators that be able to figure out exactly how much that's supposed to be. There's nutritional needs of the soil. There's no sense over-nutritionalizing this soil. It doesn't do them any good. Been watching the news close as everybody else has, and I'm confused about this whole thing. Mr. Matt Mansell, he's the operational manager from my understanding, has at one time been reported to have said that there would be approximately 30 trucks a week bringing fill in. November 17th, that was changed, and he said that there was going to be 15 trucks a week. A few days ago, on the news hour, forget which station, Check 6 or A channel, he said there was going to be 10 trucks a week. If they interview him next week, is he going to say 5 trucks a week? When I hear these numbers change like that, and I see Mr. Mansell, the operations manager, adjusting his numbers week by week, it makes me lose complete confidence in his ability and complete confidence in the plan that they've told us. The plan that they laid out, they adjusted it when they felt they needed to. The numbers of trucks that's coming down the road, they're adjusting as the heat's getting turned on them. They keep dropping it down. What numbers are we supposed to believe? That brings us to to some of the other issues. I agree with the lady earlier here, Mrs. Williams. What's happened to her farm, or to her piece of property, and the way that they've been treated, it's despicable. It makes me again think the operators of this thing, you know, I just don't understand why anybody would treat people like that. We have to be professionals. We have to stand up. Truck drivers running by, shooting us the finger. People, you know, laughing in the background here while I'm trying to talk. That's not respectful. It's not professional. Stanhope.
Mr. Baker, would you please state that because other people would like to speak?
I would like to do it as quick as I can and sit down because I don't enjoy this either. Stanhope has ignored the traffic rules and chose to pay tickets. They've ignored the stop work order that was put when the building started, and from what I understand, they were fined 1.5 times whatever the original thing was. What does that tell you? They just ignore what the rules are, the bylaws are, and proceed on anyhow. This composting is a commercial composting, no matter what they call it. What I would like to see is that this commercial composting operation to be shut down, the filter removed, so that the land can be put back to the way it was. They've destroyed this agricultural land. They've ignored policies and procedures. If we continue to ignore policies and procedures that are put there to make sure that things don't fall through the cracks, we're going to be in big trouble. So please think carefully before we start ruining more of this valley, before we start opening Lochside Lane up to these big trucks. And please remember that a truck comes, if they're claiming 20 trucks, that's 20 coming down the road, and that's 20 going the other way. Thank you for your time.
And I'd like to thank you, Mr. Baker, for looking up.